The Wretched Whisper. In a small, forgotten town nestled deep in the woods, there existed a house with a dreadful secret. It stood at the end of a desolate road, cloaked in shadows and whispered tales. The locals avoided it, their eyes averted and voices hushed whenever the topic arose. This was the house of the Wretched Whisper. Decades ago, it had been home to the Holloway family. They were known for their eccentricity, but no one could have predicted the horrors that would unfold within those walls. One cold October night, a terrible scream echoed through the woods. By morning, the Holloways were gone without a trace, leaving the house abandoned, yet not empty. Years passed, and the house fell into disrepair. Vines crept up its sides, and windows shattered from neglect. Yet, a presence lingered. It was a presence that gnawed at the minds of those who dared approach. They said you could hear a whisper, faint yet clear, calling from the shadows, pleading for release, promising salvation or suffering. The bravest among the townsfolk who ventured inside never returned, and those who stayed near enough to hear the whisper were found days later, their eyes wide with terror, mouths frozen in silent screams. Curiosity, however, is a powerful lure, and despite the warnings, people were drawn to the house. It was said that on the anniversary of the Holloway family's disappearance, the whispers grew louder, as if the house itself was yearning to share its terrible story. On such a night, a group of teenagers, drunk on bravado and mischief, decided to confront the legend. Sarah, Mike, Jenny, and Tom approached the house with flashlights and a camera. They planned to document their experience for their YouTube channel, hoping to garner 1 million views and become overnight sensations. As they crossed the threshold, a chill washed over them, and the air grew thick with an oppressive silence. The camera's red light blinked, capturing their nervous laughter and hesitant steps. "Welcome," a voice seemed to hiss from the darkened hallway. They froze, eyes wide but pressed on, determined to uncover the mystery. Each room they entered was a snapshot of decay, with peeling wallpaper and broken furniture. The deeper they went, the stronger the feeling of being watched became. In the living room, Sarah found an old diary. The pages were brittle, filled with frantic, incoherent scrawlings. It belonged to Amelia Holloway, the youngest daughter. Her entries spoke of shadows that whispered her name, of nightmares that bled into reality. The last entry was a smeared, desperate plea. "They're coming for me. I can't escape the whisper." As Sarah read aloud, a cold breeze swept through the room, extinguishing their flashlights. Panic set in, and the teenagers huddled together, the camera capturing their terrified faces in the faint moonlight that seeped through the broken windows. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, filling their ears with promises of eternal torment. Tom, the skeptic, scoffed and stood up, proclaiming it all a hoax. But as he did, a force unseen grabbed him, dragging him into the darkness. His screams echoed, then abruptly ceased. The others, paralyzed by fear, could only watch as the shadows seemed to come alive, writhing and coiling around them. Mike, holding the camera, tried to document everything, his hands shaking. "We have to get out of here," Jenny whispered, tears streaming down her face. But the house had other plans. The whispers became a cacophony, drowning out their thoughts, compelling them to stay. Suddenly, the floor beneath them gave way, and they plunged into a hidden basement. The stench of decay was overwhelming. In the dim light, they saw remnants of a dark ritual, symbols etched into the floor, and at the center, the skeletal remains of the Holloway family. Their empty eye sockets seemed to follow the intruders, their mouths twisted in eternal agony. The camera flickered, capturing the horrifying scene. Sarah, clutching the diary, realized the truth. The Holloways had tried to summon something that promised them power and eternal life. But the ritual had gone wrong, trapping their souls within the house, condemned to an eternity of suffering. The whispers crescendoed, now clear and piercing. "Join us," they demanded. Sarah dropped the diary and tried to run, but the shadows ensnared her, pulling her towards the skeletal remains. Mike and Jenny, in a last desperate act, smashed through a rotting door, stumbling into the woods, the whispers still echoing in their minds. They never spoke of that night again. The footage from the camera was found weeks later, uploaded to their channel. The video went viral, amassing millions of views, but those who watched it reported strange occurrences. Whispers in the night, shadows that moved on their own. The house of the Wretched Whisper still stands, waiting for the next curious souls.